This year marks the 77th year of the bombings of the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, an event that resulted in the immediate death of hundreds of people and the mass destruction of properties. However, this event didn't stop countries from building more lethal nuclear weapons. This gave rise to the question, why are they developing nuclear weapons? Stay till the end to find out why the United States intervened in Saddam Hussein's nuclear weapons scheme. Welcome to our channel. In this video, we are going to examine the reason why states are building nuclear weapons. But before you continue, do well to like and subscribe to our channel to watch more of our videos. Throughout the nuclear era, the conventional way has been that one state's nuclear acquisition has driven its adversaries to follow suit. According to former Secretary of State George Shultz, he said proliferation brings proliferation. Although some of the earlier weapon multiplication cases followed this pattern, it has become so scarce as the taboo of the first use of nuclear weapons is entrenched. However, the primary security factor that drives nuclear weapons proliferation is the imbalance in conventional military power. This is likely to continue in the future, with intense consequences for whether states seek nuclear weapons or not. Although conventional military power's importance in the increase of nuclear weapons has increased in recent years, it wasn't negligible in earlier years. France's pursuit of nuclear weapons is a good example. The historical narrative of France's nuclear program has been that it was inspired by Charles de Gaulle's extreme patriotism and lack of faith in extended deterrence. The historical record only partially supports this interpretation. However, as Jacques Hymans found from his cautious review of the archival record, it was not Gaul but Mendes France who made the first decision to pursue nuclear weapons. Prime Minister France ordered the initial preparation for building an atomic weapon, which took place 3 days after the Nine-Power Conference laid out the terms for West Germany rearmament, largely over Paris subjections. As Hymans explained, Mendel France believed that French military power must remain at least one order of immensity superior to Germany's. Thus, the fewer the restrictions of Germany's conventional weapons, the greater the need for a French atomic force. Given France suffering at the hand of the German military in World War I and II, also, talking of Israel's decision to pursue the bomb was motivated almost entirely by its perceived conventional inferiority through its Arab neighbors. Although these countries did not possess nuclear weapons, Israeli leaders in the late 1960s could not be optimistic about the military balance, both then, now, and into the future. After all, Egypt alone is 55 times larger than Israel, and in 1967, it had about 11 times its population. Therefore, Israeli leaders calculated that acquiring a nuclear weapon was the most certain way to negate this inherent conventional imbalance and ensure the Jewish state's survival. However, as nuclear prohibition has become more established over the years, states have had less or nothing to fear from a neighbor acquiring an atomic weapon. Consequently, conventional military power has surpassed nuclear arsenals in terms of its importance in driving the increase in nuclear arms. North Korea is a good example of this. Although Pyongyang began its nuclear scheme during the Cold War, it only started making considerable progress in the late 1980s. Particularly, this was when the nuclear threat it faced was declining as the US removed its nuclear weapons from South Korea. By contrast, it was also when North Korea had the most to fear from the conventional military balance on the peninsula. Not only had it lost its great power protectorate in the Soviet Union, but South Korea's email ascendancy, combined with its inherent demographic advantage, meant that Pyongyang's military position was growing dangerous even if America was not part of the equation. However, the US military is part of the equation on the Korean peninsula. Its amazing victory in the First Gulf War left little to no doubt about its conventional dominance in the post-Cold War era. The Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear scheme has followed a similar path. Although the initial decision to recommence the Shah's nuclear program was motivated mostly by Saddam Hussein's nuclear and chemical programs, the country began making substantial progress on the nuclear front in the middle of the 1990s. Saddam Hussein can hardly explain this trajectory, but given his threat to Iran, it significantly got decreased following the First Gulf War and was eliminated entirely in 2003 by the United States military. The fact that conventional military power is the strongest factor driving the increase in nuclear weapons should guide how we are to think about the proliferation threat in the future. The 1945 bombing, turning 2 cities to dust, has shown how deadly nuclear weapons are. However, nations still pursue this weapon. What could be the reason after seeing its effect? The answer to this is that it made each country that acquired it a superpower, having nothing to fear of other nations as it has what could serve as a deterrent if they dare misbehave. This is what Saddam Hussein wanted, but the US prevented it because he may be a major threat later on. It doesn't seem to be the ideal thing to do, or do you have any other opinion? Let's know in the comments box. Kindly subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to keep updated about our new videos. Thanks.